I love talking to people face to face. We're going to get more value from having this conversation face to face. And in 3 years' time, when people are just sick of AI-driven content, we'll be winning because we'll be doing face to face meetings the whole way through.
There is the thing that websites might not be a thing in the future.
That's interesting to hear because I cannot believe you've just said that.
It will be coming.
It will become like that.
Business brand and personal brand are going to be massively important over the next sort of few years.
But also thinking about payments and actually how people discover you, like where are you most likely to be found. Really thinking through a digital lens. It's in the end, today most people are sort of saying buying online, discovery online, being able to do trade, change, amend kind of purchases, delivery, everything you have, everything in that interface of online is really how you're going to grow a business.
We go and have meetings. People are saying, "Oh, not right now, but we'd love to, talk to you and keep you guys in the loop." The best part about that is, guess who we're now inviting to our lunch and learn on Monday? Those people as well.
So that's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now lunch and learn. We've got clients coming. We've got guests coming.
Do you do that in person or online?
What, lunch and learn? No, always online.
Oh, really?
Oh, sorry, always in person. Always in person. Yeah, always.
Isn't that
in person.
restricting how many people can show up?
Yeah, but we'll do them wherever. Like what we want to build relationships with people. Like the value today is in the eyeballs, face to face.
Right.
And this is I saw something Mark Cuban said the other day, and when a guy like that says it, I listen. He said, "You watch in 4 years' time, or 3 or 4 years' time, face to face meetings will go through the roof." And I'm like, yep, it happened after COVID. Everyone was sick of online meetings. And I'm doing a workshop next week, and we're recording it, but it's for a national group of franchises that we look after, but we're recording it, but there's a whole group coming in person. They said to me, "Why don't you do this in webinar where you could record it easy?" I said, "No, I love talking to people face to face. We're going to get more value from having this conversation face to face. And in 3 years' time, when people are just sick of AI-driven content, we'll be winning because we'll be doing face-to-face meetings the whole way through." How many people are doing seminars today? They're probably not, right? They've all gone this way. You should be going that way, And the thing is, with AI and all this sort of stuff, more and more people are going to start creating content that's all the same. So you should be doing something different. And a workshop and seminars could be the one thing that makes you stand out. One thing, you have to know what you're talking about. No point getting up there if you don't know what you're talking about. But if I was starting out again, though, I would definitely do that. But I'd also do short form video content because it builds know, like, and trust. People, you get a chance to share your character, you get a chance to build chemistry, and you get a chance to demonstrate credibility. And that is what short form video content can do.
Quick one. Mina here. Thank you for watching this episode. I appreciate you. Thank you for all your support. One thing that you can do for me is to please hit the subscribe button below. I promise you that if you hit subscribe, I'm going to work hard to make sure that my episodes are really good, that will get better and better. So, do we have a deal? Okay, back to the episode.
There is the thing that websites might not be a thing in the future.
That's interesting to hear because I cannot believe you've just said that.
Yeah, well, ChatGPT has done a deal with Shopify whereby you can purchase within ChatGPT and also do reviews. Now, if you can do everything within those large language models or AI agents, whatever you want to call them, do we really need websites? Will we just have a database and an API call where these AI agents then pull information and keep them within their own platform? I don't know, but it doesn't seem that far-fetched to me.
For some people who don't know what API means.
So it's just something that connects the database to ChatGPT so that it can pull information.
Okay.
Right.
So I can go and buy a shirt from ChatGPT. I don't need to go to the designer's website to buy that.
It will be coming.
It will become like that.
And so you get voice answers and voice things, and I think we'll go that way within the search results. Because I look at my kids, and my kids talk to these things all the time, and it's pretty normal for them. And that was really interesting. And the one you're talking about was pretty embarrassing, to be honest. So I tried Google Shopping, and that within that you can click a button, try it on. If you take a photo of yourself standing up, and it will then show what that those clothes look like you in a matter of seconds, and it's absolutely brilliant. Why I say it was embarrassing is my daughter was sick at home, my 11-year-old, and we were playing with it, and so she put me in a dress. I thought it was really humorous and dared me to post it on LinkedIn, so I did.
Something around someone was saying, were you saying I need to buy a dress or something? Like AI seems to think that I need to buy a dress.
No, it's like I've tried on the thing and it just click that button and it shows it, and you can obviously. I did one later with guys' clothes on the same one, different picture. But I just thought it's funny, and my daughter Amber was rolling about laughing, and it's I don't take myself too seriously.
No, of course.
But in 24 hours, that has had over 17,000 impressions, and shows you do things a bit silly, you don't take yourself too seriously, and it that cost me nothing, and it perpetuates things, and it also shows to the market. I'm testing these tools that are going to be important for them, and they want people that actually understand where the future is going, and test these things and make the mistakes and the decisions for them, and so that they can leverage these things safely.
I love how summer is just around the corner here in New Zealand, which means one thing: let's get out there and have some fun on the beach. Who wants that? I do. My friend Jürgen at Hibiscus Jet Ski is giving away free jet ski rides for 2. I tried it, I loved it, and I thought what a great way to get out of my comfort zone. Yep. If you want to be in to win, click the link in the description to enter. AI is big. You were talking about in one of the interviews that internet was the biggest thing that has ever happened to us.
30 years ago.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest thing that's happening to us right now?
Oh, AI is bigger than the internet. It's, so I think you could go the internet 30 years ago, smartphones, 2007, and then 2022 when generative AI became mainstream. But the difference is this is changing so rapidly, and it's at the same time when there is a global economy that is looking for better, faster, cheaper, and there's a whole endless growth. People are looking to speed things up, reduce workforces, higher productivity, higher profits, which none of which I think is the right model, but at the same time that is the world we operate in. So the adoption rate is high because there's very little friction, because you can use AI without paying for anything as long as you have a device. Basically there's a lot of free tools. Majority are either free or very low cost by comparison to every other technology. And you think about the internet, you had to have a whole bunch of things. You had to have modems and a computer and a telco account, and you had to kind of share a line. You had to, all the things that even before you started. And then, of course, you had to have a website to go to. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. So AI is not like that. And the challenge is every industry, even podcasting, you can, to get podcasts made now, and it's, within minutes of artificial generated voices on a topic of your choosing. And while you'd hope the vast majority of people would see that as not a great experience, actually they get better all the time. And of course, it's the same thing. It was only a few years ago that I felt that creatives, songwriters, videographers, storytellers, I always thought that they were like the precious little snowflakes that would never be touched by AI because it was human creativity at its best. All of those have been disrupted by AI completely. Likewise, so have lawyers and professional service firms and medical practitioners, and take your pick. It's everywhere. And so lifelong learning is the biggest challenge as a working adult we've ever had, because if you're 40 years old and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to retire at 65, which inevitably they're not going to, because first of all, you won't be able to afford to live from 65 to 95 and 30 years on there potentially won't be a pension of its type as it is today. But also, if you think about what will you do if you're not still connected to the world? So if you're 40 years old and you're choosing not to kind of adopt technologies of our time, you get left behind not just in the job, but in your communities. So my work is really focused on saying to people, the biggest risk you could take right now is doing nothing and just pretending the AI is not coming, because we can't turn it off, which is another topic in itself, because obviously if it gets better at the rate it is over the last few years, where it will be in 2 years' time is pretty mind-boggling in terms of what the capabilities will be And then, of course, all the questions, what will humans do and how will we afford to live? So you get into a pretty doomsday question or, kind of place pretty quickly. So I, again, keep thinking of the optimistic, positive side of AI, but it only works if people know how to use it and don't just become products of. I was really thinking about, why is education stayed the same? How do people learn? And anyhow, that came to another leading other institutes before Academy X, and then actually the precursor to Academy X was the Mind Lab, which was for children. And actually at the time my children were relatively young, and they were sort of still pre-teen, and I was looking at their schooling and going, wow, it's exactly like my schooling, and yet we're living in this digital time. And that was from the late 90s, so they're now well into their late 20s. But it's so interesting to see things hadn't shifted, and yet the world had shifted around. And so I was coming home and using all sorts of technologies and actually, tinkering in so much great tech from even back then, going back over, say, 25 years ago, AR and VR and AI and doing things. And my kids were like, wow, this is great. And we'd be doing things. And yet everybody around them was like still carrying their textbooks to school.
Right.
So it really came from that point of view of understanding. So I didn't actually go formally into studying education until basically it was just before I was 40. So at that point I realized it was probably more than just this career was going to be my life, that I was going to end up in this idea of learning and teaching, and the future of work was evolving that way, and that would probably be a big chunk of my life's work. So I then formalized it. But my intention was never to disrupt for the sake of disruption, but make things relevant and also contextualize, and saying the world is not the place that we grew up in. And parents actually sometimes are the biggest challenge, because if the school system served them well, then they think, well, it should just be like that. Let's do math the same old way we did it, and we should do this and have this, and the focus on numeracy and literacy and maybe not some of the other things. But what I think parents don't see is, yes, numeracy, literacy is just as important, but the complexity of young children in this world where they've seen social media has brought all the kind of the ills of the world right into their phone. They've seen things that they understand sustainability, they understand climate change, they understand geopolitics, they see war, they've got visibility of things which we never experience as young people, unless you were in another market. But in New Zealand, you didn't see those things. You lived in this sort of idyllic little world. And now, kids are grappling with things, and in turn, teachers are grappling with how to kind of look at that. And not to mention anxiety and all the other things that go with living as a young person. So the whole way through is saying, how can we make this better? Like, how do we just improve on learning and making it far more joyful and interesting?
30-year-old who's starting their own physiotherapy class or Pilates studio and want to be disruptive and want to future-proof their business. How can they do that with the type of understanding that you have and the learning that you are so passionate about?
I mean, the first thing in good examples is, let's say, a Pilates studio. The most important thing is thinking about your customer first, so customer-centric. So how do you, as a person, want to book a class? So, there has to be a very pain-free way of booking and moving classes. I was a regular at reformer classes last year, and I changed to another studio because I couldn't, this whole idea of having to go to a website and lodging and I couldn't move it became really frustrating. I changed to one that I could really easily accommodate my schedule, and if things moved, I could move it with it. But also thinking about payments and actually how people discover you, like where are you most likely to be found. Really thinking through a digital lens. I mean, in the end, today most people are sort of saying, buying online, discovery online, being able to do trade, change, amend kind of purchases, delivery, everything you have, everything in that interface of online is really how you're going to grow a business. The more analog it is, the more you ask people to do the heavy lifting, the harder it is going to be to, first of all, attract, but to retain a customer.
Can I please pause and explore analog? And
sure.
What does that really mean for us?
Analog means that you have to phone someone to book in a session. So if you've got to go to a hairdresser and phone them and you can't see availability and you can't see your stylist, or if you need some new shampoo from it and you can't just go on their website and buy it and get it delivered to you, and you actually have to go to the salon to go and get it, or if your plumber It means you have to stand, at the end of a line, you get a voicemail saying, I'm not busy, I'm busy right now, I'll call you back. And the next day you haven't heard back from them. Your business is going out of business. People need to know they need a response, even if it's just a very quick automated response and saying, I'll be right back to you. And then putting in all the systems. So autoresponders, chatbots, which are so easy today, having as much information on a website as possible so that people can do it. And for the individual customer, be able to have control the answer to what they need to do. So they should be able to self-discover, self-resolve, and actually not have to talk to a person at all. So that might be booking a plumber, cancelling a plumber, or changing an order. Whatever it is, it's not just the first approach, like, oh, I'm on Instagram, I get customers. It's like the whole way through that journey. So if they have to, analog in that world is anything that is putting the onus on the individual to do heavy lifting, which might mean making a phone call, physically walking into a store, phoning to change an appointment. All of those things mean that you're already on a slippery slope away from kind of a good business. It also means if you ever decide to sell that business, no one's going to buy it, because actually as we get more and more digital, the buyers are younger. So whoever you sell it to is going to be younger than you are, and they're going to look at your business and go, where's your database? Where's your customer relationship management? Where is the system that you're actually nurturing? Where's your email? What email kind of exchange are you using? What messaging apps are you using? What e-commerce have you got? So what I see is a lot of people, they build up a business, but they build it on a very traditional model, and then they go to market, and everybody who is looking to buy a business is looking and saying, well, you're not a digital business. It has to be digital first. And so that is the biggest priority. And actually we have a very low uptake around SMEs, the small, medium businesses, who just avoid digital, thinking it's super expensive. The reality is it's super expensive if you don't do digital, because you're really relying on people. They're saying this year will be the first time in the world you'll get a single person creating $1 billion business because of AI. Now, already we have it with less than 5 people, like 5 people creating $1 billion businesses. And this is like AI-ing everything. Now, I'm not suggesting people go and do that, but this is the world we live in, that people are creating these extremely successful, large businesses and just using all the digital tools available and actually making it so much is automated. Now, that's the extreme example. But if you're coming back saying, I'm trying to find out more about your business, and what I'm seeing online is out of date, or I have no way of contacting you, I can't reach you on the phone, even the fact on the phone. I mean, it does make me laugh the more I talk to people in their 20s who have never, ever used an analog phone in their life, like a phone in the office. And even on their mobile phones, people say, I've never called someone on my phone. Wow. So they might be like 22 years old and they've literally never used their phone as a phone.
Is there such thing that no one has ever used
their phone to call someone?